What's up, fam? It's Brian Castrillo. It is Monday morning, and I hope you guys had a great weekend. But I want to know who went out and saw The Long Walk by the great mind of Stephen King. Tell me what you thought about it. I'm going to tell you my thoughts. But first, I want to tell you what Stephen King meant to me as a child growing up and how influential he was on me. Him, along with George Romero, are a big reason why I've gotten into the horror genre, why I love the dark, the spooky, the creepy, and all the scary movies that have come out, why I have created love. But Stephen King especially got me into reading, into writing. In fact, I even wrote my first book around 10 years old about a mummy that came back to life and did some horrible things. And that book is somewhere in my possession, somewhere. I'll have to look for it. But his books had a great influence on me. Movies like It, Misery, The Shining, Cujo, which had an effect on me for a long time. Movies like, Pet Sematary, which is an amazing movie. In fact, I even named one of my cats Church, just like the movie. In fact, there is Church right now, and sometimes he can be an asshole, just like the cat in the movie. Not quite as bad as the movie, because he actually is kind of cuddly at times. But another movie like Four Past Midnight, which is a great book, by the way, and one of my favorite stories in there, because it's a bunch of short stories, is a story called The Langoliers. In fact, it even made a made-for-TV movie, which really was horrible, and that's one of those stories that deserved a better movie. But these movies also had an effect on me as well, because it brought many of these stories to life. And one of my favorites was The Green Mile, which I read when I was in the U.S. Navy, and this was during kind of a rough time in my career in the Navy, and this book really got me even more interested into horror. And if you've seen the movie, this is one of those where the movie really matches the book, and it's one of the few where it's really close. And just a great movie, great actors. But yeah, Stephen King had a great influential role on me growing up, and for that, Stephen King, I want to thank you. Thank you for, encouraging me to read, getting me into writing. I really owe you a lot on that, because that was a big part of my life, and I want to thank you for that. But how many of you guys went out and saw that movie? I want to hear from you. I'm going to tell you my thoughts on the movie right about now. Actually, I didn't watch that movie because fuck you, Stephen King. And let me get into that right now. First of all, rest in peace, Charlie Kirk. But one of the things that he said, and seems to be something that him and people like him on the left seem to like to do a lot. And I'm not saying I haven't heard this on the right, but nothing to this extreme. We all witnessed this horrible thing that had just happened, but he literally said this. He said that Charlie Kirk advocated stoning gays to death, which was completely fabricated and untrue. And to his credit, he did go in and back and apologize, because everyone called him out on it, that this was bullshit. And of course, his apology, I don't know how much he meant to that, but the thing is, we all know that The Long Walk was coming out and this weekend, so of course that's really why he's apologizing. And to be quite honest, I'm very disappointed, because I was really looking forward to seeing this movie. I'm like I said, I'm a lifelong fan. I love Pet Sematary. I named my cat Church after him, and I loved so many of his books. He was a big influence on me. He got me to read more. He got me to write, and now, I wanted to see this movie so much, and I'm not going to watch it. That's just it. I have a lot of books and other movies by him. You saw that one there, and I'm not going to burn them. And I get the significance and the picture that shows, and why people might do that. But I spent my money on that, and he already got his money on that. But so I'm not going to do that. But any future projects with him, I am not going to go see that. I'm not going to review it, because I just don't care, because Stephen King proved that he is a piece of shit. He is what he is calling other people out for. And And it's sad because I was excited to see The Long Walk. I was excited to see new books and coming from him, and there's so much. I'm just really disappointed. So my review is I'm not watching it, and I'm just kind of disappointed. Rest in peace, Charlie Kirk, and Stephen King. Charlie Kirk would have forgiven you. Love you guys.